All right. So, what did we just watch?
I can't pronounce it.
Jean. What?
It's basically John.
What?
John.
He's like Jean de Florette, which is an interesting title
because it's not his last name.
Well, it's kind of a double meaning because the lady who died, her name was Jean de Florette, and then his name was Jean, and he was her son. And then they called him Jean de Florette, or Jean de Florette, as a joke. I don't know if it's French tradition or if it was back then. I mean, not having the same last name as your mother, because he had a different last name, but he was her son. That was interesting. He was like Jean Cosper or something.
Maybe he takes on his father's last name, and she still keeps her.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe that's what they do. And
I don't know.
I
know
in some places that's what they do.
Or maybe she changed her name. Her name had changed, but everybody around there just knew him.
Or after he dies, maybe she goes back to her original name.
Yeah, maybe.
Interesting. Yeah.
Anyway, what do you think?
I liked it. I was except for having to read the subtitles, which I didn't mind so much, but I never liked doing that. It makes my eyes go cross. But I'd never watched it's a very interesting story. Very different than anything I've ever watched. The outline of the story was very interesting.
Have you ever seen a foreign film before? All in another language?
No.
It's not so bad, is it? You get used to it.
Yeah, I guess
by the end you don't even think about it.
True. I mean,
yeah. You're just not, you normally you watch stuff in your native language, but by the end you're not even thinking about it. You're just like, this is the way it is.
It's true, because so many movies are just made in English.
Mm-hmm.
So many movies are just made in English.
Well, a lot of movies, so many movies you see and I see are, because we watch stuff made in Hollywood.
True.
But, and in other countries, the biggest movies still are the ones made in Hollywood. But in other countries, they all have their cinema scene. They have their cinema. They have their, the big directors of that country. And I mean, in India, they have Bollywood. Literally.
Bollywood?
Yeah, that's what it's called. It's they have a Hollywood basically, but it's in India, and the movies they make there are huge. I mean, India has a lot of people there, so
right. It's interesting.
Yeah. I haven't seen that many French films yet. I haven't seen that many foreign films in general. It's all been Japanese and French so far. I think. Oh, and Korean. No Italian. There's a lot of Italian cinema I haven't seen. But yeah. Jean de Florette. It was a very nice film. It was mostly very nice. It was interesting. It was a mix of kind of innocence and mean-spiritedness. Because how you have Jean and his wife and his daughter, and they move out. At the beginning, you take the point of view of the main characters, I guess. I can't pronounce their names, but
Gilly.
Yeah, I have no idea what the main character's name is. I can't pronounce it at all. It looked like ugly to me. That's what it looked like.
No, it started with a G. It was Gilead or something.
No, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But he called his uncle Pepe.
Mm-hmm.
Pepe.
Oh yeah, I guess it was his uncle. I was wondering who he was the whole time until
I told you a couple times.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
they take it for granted that you know, which I like. But they But yeah, Jean and his family move out to the country, and at the beginning you kind of take the point of view of the main characters of thinking, oh, he's gonna be a Maryland hobby farmer, but in France, a guy who just moves out there just because he wants to, have the aesthetic of farming, and what do you call it? The authentic.
Yeah.
Authentic. Yeah. But that was but then you're proven wrong, and everybody's proven wrong by his dedication.
Really good.
Well, Yeah.
It's because of all
That's
those
the
books.
thing.
All those books.
Well, he's very, like I said, he's very smart.
Very scholarly.
He's very smart, and it's just, I mean, he would have done really well, except that he got totally screwed over by his neighbors. That was, like that's really messed up.
But yeah, that made me sad. Like the poor guy.
And then
like he, I don't know if you want to tell us too much about the story.
No, I mean we can spoil the whole thing.
Oh, okay. I think it's interesting that the way he died was him trying to like find water. Like that's the way, like that's how he ended up dying.
Yeah, he kind of goes off the ledge a bit. You know, he kind of goes downhill, sanity wise. I mean, it's not like he goes crazy, but you know, he becomes very obsessed. And none of this would have happened. He wouldn't have died. Everything would have gone well if he hadn't been betrayed by his neighbors.
Yeah, pretty evil.
Yeah, it was kind of evil. Yeah,
It was. It was.
Which is funny because, I mean, you kind of like the main guy. I can't say his name, but you kind of like the main guy, and he almost like at the end, you know, he cries when John dies, and you're like, oh, maybe he's not so bad.
He was like, oh yeah, he's like my friend. Like, I think of him as my friend.
Yeah, and you're like, maybe he's not so bad. But then he dies, and they're just like laughing and celebrating.
Yeah. I anoint you with the holy water.
I mean, yeah, they're like overcome by greed. Like, I mean, when you think about it, it's totally greed.
Mm.
I mean, the main guy.
I'm interested to see the second one.
Yeah, the main guy, like they didn't need to start the what is it, the carnation farm.
Mm.
Like, his uncle made plenty of money.
Right.
And he was just going to inherit his uncle's farm and continue to make plenty of money.
Right.
But he wanted to do this one thing, so they literally killed their neighbor.
Yeah.
and then kind of killed their neighbor again. Not directly, but, I mean, because of their actions, he died.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
so
yeah.
they killed two neighbors twice in a row.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot
it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
He pulls him off the tree, swings him around, and heads on a rock. That was kind of funny, though.
Yeah, it was funny, but then it's just like, it just goes down darker and darker.
But it was still like a really nice movie, though.
Yeah, so,
like all the colors are so pretty, and like, I don't know, it was...
Well, everything with John and his family was very nice and lovely, and even them, like, well, it's all, I would say it's all nice and fun until like 3/4 of the way through, because up to that point, until the drought gets really, really bad, you're like, hey, there's still hope. Up until the point, that scene with the thunderstorm where it doesn't rain.
Yeah, it's raining on like the
other that's side. Like where the whole movie reverses, because you're like, you know, there was that point earlier when it seemed like he was doomed, and then it rained at the right time.
Right.
And then you're like, oh, it's gonna happen again.
Yeah.
But no, it was.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it to actually end like that. Like, oh, part 2.
Yeah.
I was expecting it to be like a sequel, but that's not really a sequel. I mean, it is.
I mean, it is a sequel, but yeah, that was really interesting.
Yeah.
I thought they were just put together because they were a sequel, you know, first one and the second one, but I guess I don't know.
And they were just like related, but this is actually like. Yeah. One very long movie that they cut in half, it seems. Or like, no,
I don't
know. It was years later, maybe. I don't know.
It's interesting. I'll be interested to see what happens, because it looks like on the second one, the little girl has grown up. And it looks exactly like the same actress. So either it's a very look-alike actress, or they just waited years to make it, which is very rare, like, to see that patience.
Yeah, I'm interesting.
They'd be like, all right.
I'm quite sure that it's probably a different actress, but...
I don't know. I don't think so. It looks very similar, but maybe. And, you know, not necessarily, like, it didn't necessarily come out in the theaters like that. What do you think about it? For the DVD, they could have put that end of part 1 on there. But it probably came out in theaters like that. Just sometimes, you know, when they put them out in the...
Well, if that was just a movie by itself, it would have ended like... Okay, the girl saw them find the water. She goes up screaming, and then... That's
true. It doesn't really
that's weird.
Yeah, it just stops. It doesn't
People would not like that.
Well, some movies do end like that, which is very abrupt. But that didn't seem like that was... Yeah. It will be very interesting to watch the sequel.
Watch it tomorrow night. I want to watch it really bad now. Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know. I just seem like sometimes if it's something like that, you want it to be fresh.
True.
But
True.
just then you kind of forgetting a lot of it.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Well, I mean,
what's the second one called?
Monin of Spring, which is her name.
Which is
yeah.
her name, yeah.
Her name. Monet.
And then
Monet?
his wife was Amy. Basically.
Amy.
But it was, I don't know,
Was it
pretty,
Amy or Annie?
No, it was Amy.
Was it N or?
Amy only, the way they pronounce it, however they pronounce it.
Well, I think it was spelled with like 2 E's.
Yeah.
But. So it's spelled differently too. It's like A-M.
E-E, I think.
I-E-E. No, there's an I, I think.
Oh, an I, okay.
I'm not sure.
That was a pretty name.
Yeah, it was, yeah, it was very, a lot of, it was interesting to see even, like, there was a lot of prejudice, which was interesting, because even the character who's a good guy in the film, he was, like, completely prejudiced against everyone else. I mean, in the city, in that town. Like, I thought the main guy was playing it up when he said, oh, he doesn't want to come here, he places his bread in that other town. I thought he was playing it up because, to make him look bad, because he was trying to make him look bad to everyone in that town. But no, like, he actually showed up, and he was, like, disinterested or like anyone.
Mm-hmm.
And he got out of there as quickly as possible. He was literally going to, like, bash that guy's head.
I did think that was interesting. I'm like...
That was... I wonder if that will be explored more in the sequel, or if it... I don't know. I mean, maybe it was just...
I'm very curious.
Something we're expected to accept from the times in France. Because, yeah, in times past, you didn't think about it, but you were just like, yep, they're from a different town. Or like, he's a city folk. I shouldn't trust or like him. Why did he come here?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that still happens, Neighborhoods, gentrification of neighborhoods. They don't trust, or want, like, the neighborhood's falling apart. But then one new family moves in with more money, and they fix up their house, and their neighbors don't like it because, this is just how the neighborhood is. We don't want it to fix up. This has happened a lot in DC and around the area. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, it will be very... It's kind of hard to comment on it right now because it is kind of half a movie.
Mm-hmm.
It is a little, like...
I'm not sure how long it's, like 2 hours.
Yeah. And I'm assuming
it's like a 4-hour long movie, basically, probably.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's very long. But...
I do wonder if they made it at separate times or if they just filmed it all at once.
I don't know.
I'd have to see, like, when these
came out.
Because that came... I think I saw in the back that the first one came out in 1986. Which is funny because that did not look like a movie made in the 80s. Mm-mm. If that had come out in America, it would not have looked like that.
All the scenery and stuff reminded me of, like, Hobbitville and stuff. Like the Shire, Hobbiton. Hobbiton, yeah. Yeah. It was so pretty, and, like, the rolling hills. And...
Yeah, the beautiful countryside. But it's interesting to see, like, this beautiful countryside and kind of a dark side to it.
Mm-hmm.
With what seemed like pretty normal people... just setting their minds and doing this one thing and not caring what happens when people get in the way.
Yeah. Movie made me very thankful for my water I have.
Yeah.
Even just full of chlorine.
Yeah. Water is one of the most important things in the world.
People, that's what they would... That was like their livelihood was the weather, basically. Cause...
Their livelihood was their proximity to water.
Yeah.
Which is why cities are where they are. It's proximity to water. Which is why cities have all the money. Because they're by the water. And the water is life. And life means livelihood. And livelihood means money. That's why the cities have the power. And they have the money. Because they're almost always built by a source of water. A river, a lake, or the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not always just drinking water. The ocean, you can't drink the ocean, but...
I wonder where in France that was, because, it was, like, so dry. wonder where that was
I
supposed to
think
be.
they told you at the beginning. I don't remember though.
Because, yeah, it was literally like said it didn't rain for 36 days. That's that's.
Well, no. He was just saying, "Oh no, it totally won't rain for 36 days."
Oh, I thought
And he was like, "There's no way," and John was like, "There's no way." Statistically speaking, there's no way. Oh yeah, but still, think about it. Like this year's been very dry. Even here, we're by water.
True, but they said that like that was like just.
It was a bad
for every year.
No, it wasn't typical. It was a bad year. But bad years happen. Sometimes it just doesn't rain. Sometimes it just doesn't rain. And that's why it's important to be by water, because you can't rely on the rain.
Mm-hmm.
Or else, the rain is very fickle.
Yeah, I think what they should have done was they should have, obviously this was just a movie. They should have gotten the rabbits and tried to make a profit off of them, because rabbits drink, but like you don't have to haul that much water. Like you would still. You could at least keep the rabbits alive. And then they should have tried to hired someone to find water. Because that wasn't... And then they start their crops.
Well...
The following year or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, because they couldn't have hired one by the time they needed to hire someone, because they had literally no money.
Yeah. But they had... it seemed a good bit. Could have hired someone.
At the beginning they could have.
Well, obviously he didn't have any knowledge in that kind of stuff. He was kind of just starting from scratch in his books. So...
He did almost everything right. I think it would have... obviously it would have gone very well for them if they hadn't been sabotaged. But even if they would have been okay if he hadn't died, I think.
Mm.
I think they would have made it. He just got a little too eager, and he, like Pepe said, wine and dynamite don't mix.
I thought that was funny. Oh wait, what was the other funny thing it said? God,
But he was like, your word in God's ear.
Yeah.
That wasn't funny, but that was a good.
No, yeah, not funny,
saying.
but it was, yeah.
I have to remember that one. Yeah. It is hard. Yeah, it's really hard to consider a film where you only see half a story. It's hard, yeah.
I found it a little interesting that, like, you almost think of when she's, like, in the beginning, when they come and she's, like, singing because they just got in there and they're, like, all excited. I feel like there'd be a little more, like, singing and, like, him playing the harmonica and, like, as a family, but there wasn't.
Yeah, they do kind of, like, set up that, and then it just doesn't come back.
It, like, you can, like, see the family kind of, like, disintegrate. Like, they're just so happy when they come, and then, by then, like, he's dead, and they're just, like, so, like, just depressed, which is understandable.
Yeah, it's
really cold in here.
It's like, realistically, it makes sense why they wouldn't be singing so much. They're just so busy. You think, like, they're literally working since the sun gets up till after it goes to bed. They're working. Looking all day. Yeah, it's...
And he comes home and drinks his wine after.
Yeah, no one in the movie drank a drop of water.
The whole thing was about water, and they just drink wine.
Well, that's why. They don't have water to drink. Like, the precious amount of water they have, they can't just drink water. John didn't need to drink as much as he did. But, every character, like, the only thing they drank was wine. Because
True.
You're not going to waste water on yourself unless you literally.
It's a great cellular water.
It works. Apparently. They're surviving. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It will be very interesting to see the sequel. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. I think Jonathan lets you borrow such most random movies. Like,
Yeah, well, that's
Like he
that's
gives
what's
you like the
interesting.
6 movies and they're all just like dramatically different.
Well, that's what's interesting. That's what that's what's exciting about borrowing stuff from him.
Yeah, and we're already
It's
going
not like
through
the
this.
sort of stuff. It's not like the sort of stuff that you're just gonna randomly find free on YouTube or something like.
Yeah. He's collected these for
You're
years.
not gonna find Jean de Florette on YouTube for free. And if you do, I wouldn't pick it out. I'd probably be like, I don't know what that is. I might not pick it out. I love personal recommendations of interesting sounding movies. Or interesting looking movies. I mean, that's just... It's the same with music. I mean, word of mouth is the best way to be recommended something, I think. And I almost prefer it like more when it's just one random movie that you get suggested one time, rather than everyone's like, "Oh, you gotta watch this. Oh, you gotta watch this."
Yeah.
Especially when it's a new movie, just because everyone's saying blah blah and watch it. It's like I don't know. I mean, I haven't been that interested in watching new movies for the last few years. I mean, it's not just because
new as in like have come out recently.
yeah, stuff that just came out. Not just because it hasn't looked as good, but also just because, I mean, you realize, like, there's over 100 years worth of movies and films to watch.
Yeah.
There's thousands and thousands of good films to watch.
Yeah.
And interesting films to watch. And if nothing that's coming out even looks interesting, why would I waste my time watching that?
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. I think the only time we've walked into the theater this year was for a rerun of a movie that came out in 2004.
Yeah, it's true.
Classic.
Yeah. That was a good experience.
Yeah. So, what would you rate it?
Probably a 9.
Wow.
I'd give it almost a 10 if I'd have to read the stupid subtitles.
No, stop.
I'm just joking. It was good. Yeah, I'd give it like a 10. I was joking about that part.
A 10?
I mean, a 9. Sorry, a 9.
Wow.
I'd give
That's
it a
pretty
9.
high.
Yeah, it was really good.
It was really good. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, but I might change it once I see the second one. You know.
Yeah.
Maybe the second one will change my opinion on it, but it was very good.
I'd probably give it a
You would give it 8 probably.
Yeah, an 8.
Yeah.
It might go up depending on the next film. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
You know, some films I think about them more, and most films I think about them more. I always think about films more after watching them.
You'll just talk about it for days.
Well, if it's really good, usually, or if it's really bad. But most films, you know, I give it. I feel some way once right after watching it, and then as time goes on, I think about it. It's like, well, okay, it wasn't actually as good as I remember.
Yeah.
It was like, it wasn't that special. You know, that's usually what it comes to me. But there are those very rare films that I think about them more and more and more. Like, years have gone by. I haven't even watched them again. I just keep thinking about it. It's like, wow. Those are the ones that slowly creep up to being perfect in my mind.
The other ones you never forget and you still think about, like, just randomly.
Yeah, like The Irishman. When I first watched that, I was like, oh, man, that was really good. Like, 9 out of 10. And then I thought about it more and more and more. And I was like, man, that's one of the best things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll give it an 8 for now, and we'll see what it.
I have a feeling it's going to be good.
I'm sure it'll be good.
It'll be good.
And yeah, cinematography of that, it was like, it's one of those where there weren't really that many, I call like standout shots. They weren't any like super flashy shots or super, like, whoa, nothing smacked you in the face, or what people refer to in like big movies is like trailer shots, as in like movie shots that look especially really good, and you're like, that was definitely gonna be in the trailer.
It had an interesting like hue to it.
Yeah, that.
Like, it wasn't like the really clear like.
Yeah.
But I think it really like added to the movie.
Yeah.
Like to the style of it.
Yeah, it had all those beautiful yellows,
The orange.
oranges, greens.
Reds.
It had all those lush nature tones that they're actually really easy to get wrong, because if you oversaturate the movie too much, it just looks fake and it looks like a commercial or something, where everything's just glossy.
Yeah.
This movie, it was beautiful.
Very
It
dim.
was lush. It was dim. It was dirty. You know, it felt tangible and real.
Especially like that sandstorm.
That was really interesting.
That was interesting. It was like
that was kind of interesting flair.
I don't even know if they called it a
No,
sandstorm.
it was a windstorm.
A windstorm. Yeah,
interesting.
There was interesting lighting in it.
The cinematography was really good throughout. It did a great job of complementing what needed to be told without showing off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I like showing. I personally like cinematography that kind of shows off. It is unnecessary and a little over the top when it's done, but I still like it and I enjoy it. But this is the film. This is the sort of film that did not warrant having flashy cinematography that showed off.
Mm-hmm.
This was kind of a subdued film, not minimalist, just a simple film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so the cinematography complemented that, which is kind of the cinematographer's job.
Wonder how much this cost to make.
Not that much, I'm sure.
I can't imagine, because he just literally was outside the whole time, and which is not. I'm not saying I know, but.
No, I can't imagine it was more than like a few million, which is pretty low for films. Because it still takes a lot of money to make a film. Because you have a lot of people to pay.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But, yeah, thanks for listening, everybody, to this episode of Consumption.